Good day, Internet. I'd like to talk to you about the holiday industrial complex and materialistic relationships in our society. How has deception and exploitation, formalized as the profit motive, manifested itself in our traditions? The profit motive which drives our economy is based on fundamental inequality. This is the idea that one person is inherently worth more than another to society, and that is measured by your wealth or how much. This was recognized as a disease by the Native Americans as we conquered their lands. It was seen as a cannibalistic form of competition. This disease was not unlike the physical infections which destroyed them. When we think of the pyramid formed by inequality, we tend to look upwards and point our finger and say that's injustice, as if only the powers above us are the ones doing the exploitation and we are being at the bottom. However, that is not entirely true. Even within our society, we have still slavery going on. We have people in wage labor who cannot escape while maintaining survival. Below that, we have, of course, the Native Americans included and indigenous peoples around the world who've been pushed aside in the name of civilization. Even below the indigenous peoples, you could see that plants and animals have also been exploited. Albeit in a more natural way, in a more sustainable way, still there is one above the other. So it's not a problem that we can exclude ourselves from when we're looking at the potential causes. So our world is a world of consumerism. This is defined as a social and economic order and ideology that encourages the acquisition of goods and services in ever greater quantities. The quantities in possession of a person may determine their social status, and the big myth running around this whole game is that the acquisition of more goods will lead somehow to happiness. Most of us, I think, could look to our experience to see that that is not true. Material goods do not seem to bring happiness as we think they should. If we are at the point of poverty and suffering from scarcity, then yes, happiness may be a difficult thing to find. And in that case, acquiring such goods may actually lead to happiness, but past that point, there's no proof that it will increase happiness further. This materialistic consumerism leads to certain attributes, certain traits, such as non-generosity and unwillingness to give or share possessions with others. It leads to envy. This is the desire for other people's possessions. It also leads to possessiveness, which is a concern about the loss of possessions and a desire for greater control of ownership. Inequality in our society is very deep-rooted, and it manifests itself in many different ways. But since today is December the 25th, it is Christmas, we're going to talk about that. Now, as I speak about this, don't get me wrong, we have some beautiful traditions, not only Christmas, but many others in our culture. It's many things we've been able to express beautifully, creatively, and we've managed to incorporate wholesome values into these traditions. However, the creep of industrialization and materialism, consumerism, has affected one thing, which Christmas may be the one thing many people can recognize as having been subverted. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. Something is wrong. It's not about wholesome family values. In fact, many people dread Christmas. This is because of the expectations, which we'll talk about. So, Christmas is the celebration of the birth of Jesus, who himself was born poor. His father, a poor carpenter, and he espoused the virtues um, of generosity, of helping the poor, helping others needy, people who are vulnerable, um, and this tradition has been about the generosity and love toward not only our family, but towards strangers, towards those in need. Those people we now see as parasites, vampires, useless eaters, rather than a product of our own worldview, as I just talked about. We might even feel insulted to receive a gift of a donation in our name. We might be annoyed with people asking for help. And this is straying quite far from the original message. We are resigned to the conclusion that nothing can really be done about poverty, as most of us slip towards it. Can someone be called middle class if wage labor is the only thing between them and the street? Santa Claus is the idealized father figure for an industrialized consumer culture. I'll give you a few examples. He's hardly ever around. He's always off somewhere laboring away, making stuff in order that he can bring it and give it to us. He does nothing for the family except provide the support of these material goods. He represents the reward of submission to authority. He employs constant surveillance and knows everything. He's ready to judge or punish. One more recent and disturbing example of this trend is one phenomenon called the elf on the shelf, in which apparently people are making this into a tradition where you take this elf, it's hidden amongst the house and put in a different spot each day, and the kids are supposed to find them. They're not allowed to touch him. He reports on the activities of the children directly back to Santa Claus. So they are being watched. And this has been seen as possible, just an escalation towards the idea that somebody's watching, that there's an authority figure, that you should be submitting to that there are rules, you shouldn't be questioning it, etc. Santa's also married to his wife and commands his submissive elves and reindeer to do his bidding. Passing of wisdom between generations and the common responsibilities and abundance of the family has been replaced with the domination of the provider. The thing which now connects our generations and our family is this idea of gift giving, that on not only Christmas but any holiday there must be an exchange. You must go out and purchase some products in order to give it to somebody as a symbol of love, a symbol of affection, a symbol that you care. Moreover, the better or more expensive the gift, the more that you presumably love that person. instead of using more more direct experience of relationships, of emotion, of conveying, of loving and expressing, we have these stand-in goods and exchanges which mediate that. So meaningful connections have been replaced by the giving of material goods, which is perfect for an industrial consumer-based society. This is what we are supposed to do. If you love somebody, put a ring on it. And the size of the diamond is proportional to the amount that you care, or the amount that you're able to provide. It's a symbol of your status, and a symbol of your position as a provider. In the bigger picture, we are but useful idiots. We can be counted on to respond favorably to corporate advertising and government propaganda. We would do well to look into ourselves, to observe the observer, to see what's actually happening, to understand the reasons why we take our actions, and how the manipulation of our emotions is actually the mechanism in which our actions are controlled externally. So for not only Christmas, but any other holiday of the year, let's drop our expectations. Let's discover something meaningful. Thanks for watching.